to Unsightly Opinions. If you're new, my name's Tamara, and today we're going to be exploring the beautiful world of gift wrapping. Gift wrapping is fantastic because it's a creative art that can be as simple or as over the top as you want it to be. With a few simple tips and tricks that I'm going to share with you today, anybody, no matter your sight level, no matter your experience level with gift wrapping, you are going to be able to take your presents to the next level. We're going to talk about how to properly fluff and stuff your tissue paper. We're going to talk about what colors go together. We're going to talk about layering ribbons, and we're going to talk about what should go in what type of container and what's going to be the easiest environmentally if you want to reuse things over and over and over again. So, without further ado, let's dive in. Let's start with the easy ones first. Gift boxes are probably the easiest things that you can pick up that make it look like you put the extra effort into a gift. I like gift boxes because they can be used over and over and over. They're a lot more eco-friendly than wrapping paper, and they can hold a lot more stuff. It looks like you've made a little extra effort, and I don't find that these cost that much more than gift bags, at least not where I live. So what would you put in a gift box? With bigger gift boxes, I like using these as personally tailored gift baskets. So again, it doesn't need to cost a fortune, but I tuck the lid into the bottom. Then I grab some tissue paper that's in the same color tone. So it can be contrasting or the same as whatever your box color is, but pick it in the same color tone. So warms with warms, cools with cools. This is a cool colored box. It's green and blue and purple. So I'm tucking in some blue tissue paper. And that's just gonna make the box look more full and look more finished than just having an empty box in the bottom. And then you can tuck in whatever you want, whether it's mugs and hot chocolate or personal bath items, whatever it is, this is gonna look really nice. And the only thing I do to finish wrapping this is I get the clear cellophane wrap from the dollar store. I cut a big sheet all the way around, making sure it can reach all the way around the box, and then I pull it together from the sides and I tie it up with a ribbon. Since I'm not doing any gift baskets this year, I'm not gonna put one of those together. But I do have some things that I am putting in a little gift box. So what I'm going to do first to make this work is I'm going to take my gift, in this case it's a wireless mouse in an ugly box, and I'm going to place it in the center of a piece of tissue paper. Again, the box that I'm using is cool toned, so I'm going to keep into the cool tones and use this blue tissue paper. It's been used before, but that's okay. If you're really delicate with your tissue paper, you can use it for a long time, over and over.
To wrap gifts in tissue, I take the edge closest to me and fold it into the center. Then I take the edge furthest away from me and fold that into the center, making a trifold. Next, I take the right side and bring that towards the center. Finally, I roll the whole present counterclockwise like a burrito. I set it on the exposed edge so it stays folded. Then I place my gift in the box and put the lid on.
You could easily just hand it to somebody like this and it's going to be plenty nice, but I like to finish my gifts even a little more because I find the more little details you put in, the nicer and more personalized it feels.
To finish this box, I picked a matching green ribbon tag and bow. To wrap the ribbon nicely, run it horizontally across the top of the box, down the sides, and flip the box upside down so the ribbon runs across the bottom. Next, once the ribbons meet at the center of the bottom, turn each one 90 degrees counterclockwise to create a turn in the ribbon, lacing them together. Continue in that direction, wrapping it back up the sides to the top and tie the ends together in a bow. Then I added my other bow and matching tag.
And just a safety tip, if you're cutting ribbon, cut on an angle because that prevents fraying, especially if it's a fabric ribbon. And I always save any extra ribbon, even if it's just a little piece, because I can use these to make new Christmas tags next year with old Christmas cards. That'll be another video for another time though. Gift bags are great if you have multiple things that you want to give to somebody and you want it to look nice, and again, this is super easy, no effort required, inexpensive, and you can use gift bags over and over and over again. First things first, you're gonna grab tissue paper in the same color as your gift bag or in a similar color tone. In this case, this is a paper bag with blue, so I am going to use blue tissue paper. I am going to take the items that are going in the bag, and you can wrap them as a group or you can wrap them individually.
Here I wrapped up the socks in the exact same way as the mouse for the gift box, and I tipped the bag on its side to slide the present in.
You never want a bag to be bulging at the sides, that doesn't look as nice, and you never want your items poking out the top. You never want a bag to look empty either. That's a bit disappointing when you open something up and there isn't stuff filled to the brim. It looks better if you pick a smaller bag and fill it more. Now here's where the magic of tissue paper comes in. I like to use things that have contrasting colors. This is just a cream-colored tissue paper with multicolored sparkles. And then I am also going to grab a piece of the blue that I wrapped all of the presents on the inside of the bag with. Now, the magic comes in when you place your paper in opposite directions to each other. This is how you get nice floofy paper. Take your index finger and place it in the middle of your two sheets. Reach underneath with your other hand and pinch around your finger, flipping your paper upside down, and then just shake it a little bit. Now it'll be perfectly fluffed paper. It should be nice and poofy. Don't smush it down too much. All you do is stick it in the edge of your bag and spread it out as necessary. Now that my tissue paper is in and fluffed, the last thing I do is I tie the handles together. And the reason I do that is it just makes it easier to pick up the bag and hand it to somebody or take it somewhere. And again, it looks more finished. It looks like you put a little extra effort than just shoving tissue in a bag. Keep with the theme of your bag, so I'm going to tie it together with a bow with twine. Then I'm going to use a couple of little baubles that I have. I grabbed these off of some party poppers from last year. I saved them, and these are going to wrap around the handle just to give it, again, that little extra piece of detail, and it's really easy to put on.
I cut 3 1-foot lengths of twine and tied them as one in a bow around the handle. Then I wrapped my baubles around as well. I added a matching tag to finish it off.
Next, let's get into presents that I think a lot of people run into trouble with. That's where you actually have to wrap with wrapping paper. This wrapping paper is a silver color and has accented white and navy printing. First things first, unroll a length of your wrapping paper and place your present or gift on top. Next, decide which way your present fits best on the paper.
Once I know which way I'm going to wrap, I make sure I have enough paper unrolled to cover the entire circumference of the box. Be sure to leave some overlap here as this is important for later. Once I measured around the box, I cut the paper using the wrapping paper roll to keep me going in a straight line. If you have excess paper on the sides, make sure you have enough paper to go up 3/4 of the sides of the box on each side. I trimmed the excess here using my fingers and the edge of the box as a guide. Then I took the paper and taped the paper to the center of the top of the box. I wrapped the paper all the way around, making sure I had tension on the paper, and folded the rough edge over to give me a nice clean line. Once I had the edge folded over and lined up with the other 2 edges, I taped it in place. Next, I worked on the open sides. First, I folded the overhanging paper on the top of the box down towards the center and taped it to the box. Next, I took my right hand and pushed it up against the right hand edge of the box, making sure the top overhang that was folded down was pushed right into the corner with my right hand. I came to the outside of the box and folded the outside, or the right hand side, in towards the center, creating an angled fold. I repeated this step on the left side of the box, then I folded the bottom piece up towards the top, but not before I did that. I folded over the rough edge to make sure I had a nice clean and finished line. I repeated this process on the other side of the box. To decorate this box, I wrapped it twice in blue ribbon with twine layered on top, exactly the same way as I did with the first gift box, except I didn't trim my bow tails this time. Instead of trimming the excess ribbon, I kept tying bow loops over and over to make additional texture with the ribbon until I reached the end of the tail. I layered my shiny dollar store bow on top and added a matching tag.
I have pre-wrapped this next present, but I want to talk about 2 specific things. First, how to keep striped wrapping paper relatively straight, and 2, how to curl ribbon. Because if you don't have a bow on hand, you can make ribbons and make nice curly bows all by yourself with just this really cheap, inexpensive stuff that I've seen at most people's houses. You can buy giant rolls of this plastic, iridescent, shiny ribbon at the dollar store, and it only costs 99 cents. So it's really easy to have on hand. It doesn't take up a lot of space, and it works great. So first, let's talk about dealing with striped paper. When you're working with striped paper, what I like to do is I like to find one of the edges of my box, and if your paper is striped and textured like mine, I can feel the paper to make sure that one of the stripes lines up with exactly one edge of my present. Then I tape it in place so it doesn't move. That way it stays straight when I continue to wrap and do it exactly the same way as we did the previous present. Next, let's talk about curling ribbon, which I have tied around my present. You want it tied in place first, and I've left myself some long tails. I've left myself a little over a foot. That might be a little bit intense, but anything more than a couple of inches is going to give you a nice curl. Because I tied this one with a double strip of ribbon, I have 4 individual tails, and I'm going to curl them each individually. So to curl ribbon, all you're going to need is scissors. Open your scissor blade wide and place it on the bottom side of your ribbon, whichever side isn't shiny. One side will feel shinier than the other. That's all you need to do. I place mine at about 90 degrees to the ribbon, and I hold it in place with my thumb. So it goes thumb, ribbon, scissors. And then as I pull straight back, it's going to give me a really nice tight curl. The faster you pull, or the more pressure you give on the blade, the tighter the curl. So let's do that again. I have my scissors at 90 degrees to the ribbon, and then I'm holding it in place with my thumb. And then all I do is I pull along the length of the ribbon. And then once I get to the end, I let go.
I should mention you can't curl fabric ribbon, only synthetic plastic ribbons. I finished curling the 4 tails and I wanted more curly ribbon, so I tied 2 more 2-foot strands in the center just around the knot where the 4 curls sat. I curled those 4 tails as well, making a nice bouncy full bow. I finished it with a matching tag.
The final present type we're going to talk about wrapping today is things that are odd shapes. It's quite frequent that you'll want to wrap something cylindrical. Don't ask why I'm wrapping this cheese powder, just know that there's somebody in my life that really likes this and would think it's a fantastic gift. To wrap something cylindrical, I like to wrap them and make them look like bonbons or candies. So they have the twist at the sides and then the big lump or cylindrical shape in the middle. And the way I do that is make sure that you have enough wrapping paper to have a lot of excess on the top and bottom of whatever your cylinder is. In this case, mine's pretty narrow, so I should be fine with the regular width of my wrapping paper. So all I do is I figure out how much wrapping paper I'm going to need to go all the way around my present, give myself a little bit extra. Like with every other present, I'm going to follow the edge of my roll to keep me in a straight line.
I cut my paper following the roll, then I placed the cylinder in the middle with the same amount of excess paper on the top and bottom. I taped the edge of the paper to the cylinder and rolled. Once the paper was wrapped around, I folded the exposed rough edge over to finish it off and taped it in place. Next, I pinched just above and below the cylinder and tied it with a ribbon top and bottom. I curled the ribbon and finished it with a tag.
And we are done with our present wrapping guide. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe you took something away that you're going to try with your gift wrapping this year. Maybe you just enjoyed watching me pick all the pretty ribbons for my presents. Doesn't matter. I'm glad you're here. If you like content like this, please don't forget to subscribe. It really helps me out. Hit those bells and buttons so you can stay up to date when I post new content. If you want more content in between uploads, I have an accessible Twitch stream every Sunday night at 7:30 Mountain Standard Time, and I have my other social media accounts linked in the description box down below. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.